All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. In this tutorial, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be going through this step by step on how to create your project folder. So let's get into it. So, first off, everything starts with this your AVTF media folder for this particular computer. I'm going to double click on that until it opens. Also, as always, I want you to be in column view again. Getting to this may look a little different on different computers, but if you click somewhere up here, you'll have a list that says as icons, list, columns, gallery. Out of all of these, we want to make sure that it's on columns. All right. So now that we have that, we're going to go to our class. I'm going to choose, or I'm sorry, our class level. I'm going to choose a random one. You need to choose the one that applies to you. All right. So I'm going to just randomly click on this second one and go back to my folder that I created in a previous tutorial. All right, so for this one, imagine my name is Michael Williams. So there we go. So since this is my class period, of course, that's in there. I'm going to click on my name. And for right now, it's empty. So again, this is where you'll make your project folders. You want one project folder per each project. So with that, you shouldn't be combining them from different projects because that's where it gets messy. So anyway, in this one, in this space, since this represents the inside of this folder that has my quote unquote name on it, what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click here, and then in this drop down menu, I'm going to click on new folder. All right, so that creates a new folder. This untitled name for it is there already, but it's highlighted. Since it's highlighted, what does that mean? It means that I don't have to click on it. I don't have to press any special buttons, but as long as I start typing whatever I want to name this project folder, all of the untitled stuff goes away. So with this, what I'm going to type in is, let's say that I type in, a random project would be dialogue scene. And there we go. So with this, yours, it may be something different, of course, because it's depending on whatever project that you're working on. But guess what? Just type the name of whatever that project is. And also, nope, I'm not going to say that. And there you go. And after that, you can hit return or enter. And there it is. So now you want to ask yourself, now that you have this project folder, and again, this represents the inside of this particular project folder, which is called the dialogue scene. Then you want to go back to these three folders that you'll put inside of any project folder. So let's review what they are. The first one is the content folder. So with this one, I'm going to capitalize the C and type in content. I want you to do that with me. All right. So hopefully you have that by now. So now underneath this content folder, not over here, because this represents the what? The inside of this content folder, and I don't want to put the next folder inside there, but instead I want this next folder to go under this content folder on the inside of this dialogue scene folder. So I'm gonna right click this blank space under the content folder and click on new folder in the drop down menu, and for this one I want to title it exports. All right. And then I'm going to repeat that same process by right clicking in this blank area under exports, and I'm going to click new folder again. And for this final folder, I'm going to type in project files. And there you go. So right there, that's how to create your project folder. So next up, I have a bonus. So since we've just created that project folder, what we're going to do is we're going to set up our project. So I clicked on Premiere, and this is actually very interesting for this computer. At this time, usually Premiere Pro, it would be kind of jumping up and down this little icon down here that I'm moving my mouse around. But instead, you see this little dot at the bottom. So if you look up here, it says Premiere Pro. Most people would think, okay, it's not turning on, what's going on, something's wrong with it. Nothing's wrong with it. You just need to go up here to where Premiere Pro is and then click on File. And then from there, we can click on New Project. All right. So from here, this is what we're going to do. So the two most important things to address before you click this Create button is to number one, choose your project location, which is going to be your project files folder. And number two is going to be to name this project. All right, you want to be very specific with the name. And after you put the name of the project in there, you want to put your name on there just in case it gets lost. So first off, with this project location, I'm going to click on this little arrow, and I got this drop down menu, and I want to click on choose location. All right, so then this pops up. What it does is it says, okay, you want to choose this location. Where do you want to save this project? Well, what I can do is I can go on desktop on the side, and I can go to AVTF media, and then I can go to my class, or I'm sorry, my class level, and then my class, which is this one, and then my name, because it's on my folder, and then this project, and then I can click on project files, which is where I want my project files to be saved, hence the name, and then I can click on choose. All right, a different way of doing that to get to that folder is this is open. I can go to the Finder on the regular desktop of the computer, which that it just popped up, and I can take my project files folder and drag it and drop it. So as I do that, it doesn't move it. It just takes that data and it quickly tells Premiere exactly where it is, and it chooses that folder for me. And then of course I can click on choose. All right, so then secondly, the project name. So like I said, with this one, it's a dialogue scene, right? So if it's the generic name of the project, you put that. But also, guess what? What if everybody did that? How would you be able to know where your stuff is if you accidentally chose the wrong project location? And so with that, in order to simplify that problem or to not have that be a problem at all, I'm going to press the underscore on the keyboard, and then I'm going to type my name. So for this one, it happens to be Michael Williams. There we go. And so also I hit enter prematurely, but that created my project. So now we're going to get into the setup. All right. This is a setup that you want to do every time before you start editing anything. All right. So down here, this is called the project panel. All right. So in this project panel, this is where everything goes that pertains to your project. So with this, you want to keep this organized. So the first thing that I'm going to have you do is down here, even though I don't have anything in my content folder, I want you to imagine that you already have your clips there, music there. You have everything that you need media-wise to edit. And what are the three types of media? You have pictures, you have videos, and you have audio, music, whatever that is, voiceovers and all of that. So first, after you put all of that in here, you can take this content folder and drag it and drop it down here. Okay, so after you do that, you already got the content folder. So now you can right click in this blank space under this content folder, not on it, but under it. All right, so I'm gonna right click. Then in this drop down menu, I'm gonna click on new bin. All right, that's gonna make a new bin because again, we want to keep it organized. So now with this bin, we got to give it a name. So with this, we're gonna type in the word sequences. If you don't know how to spell it, it's right here. All right, so again, if you don't know how to spell sequences, it's right here where I'm moving this mouse frantically. All right, so I'm gonna type in the word sequences. All right, so then from there, after you've done that, and hopefully you're doing this with me. So after you've done that, you notice I'm not clicking anything, and I also didn't press enter. All right, so the reason being is because we want to keep this highlighted. If you press enter and it went down to content, just click back on sequences to where this bin will be highlighted like this. So now I'm gonna hold down command on my keyboard, and I'm gonna press the letter N as in Nicholas. All right, what that command does is it brings up the new sequence screen. So again, what I did is I held down command on the keyboard. I want you to look and read where that is. So you want to hold that down. So what holding means is that you don't let it go. Keep your finger pressed on that. You don't have to press it hard, but keep it pressed down. And as you press that down, you want to press the letter N one time. So by pressing it, you press the key and then you let it go. All right. And so of course, after that, this is going to pop up. So without going into too much detail with this, sequence settings are important, But with this, what I'm going to do without explaining that, at least right now, is I'm going to go to a setting that I like, digital SLR, and I'm going to go to 1080p, and I'm going to go to 24 frames per second, which is that number at the end. Again, if you don't know what FPS is, or frames per second, don't worry about that right now. But I'm going to click this one, and I'm going to name the sequence. All right. It's very important that you name these sequences exactly whatever the project is so that you don't have to name it later. All right. So with this, I'm going to put, let's say we got dialogue. Boom. There we go. Scene. And then we got Michael Williams. There we go. And let's say that my scene is called Don't Eat the Cake. There we go. Somebody put something in it. All right, so there we go. So now I got the name right there. So I got my sequence, that's ready, and also my content. Even though I don't have anything in there, if I did, that would be ready. All right, and that's how you set everything up. All right, so from here, you'd be able to start editing again. Before you drag the content folder in there, you want to make sure that there's some content in there. Just as a rule of thumb, for example, let's say that, and I'm going to just pull some random stuff in there just for example purposes. So right here, again, you wouldn't do it like this, but imagine that you already have your footage on there and you have it in your content folder. If you put it in there later, in order for it to be in here, the order of operations is you put in your content folder first, and you notice that it doesn't update on here. All right. So in order to put these files in there, these are the files that you're editing with, I'm going to drag them down. I'm going to put it over the content, and you notice the word content highlights as I put it over it. So with that, you want to drop it, and then it goes in there. All right. So we went over a lot of stuff today. Number one, the project folder setup. Number two, your project setup in Premiere Pro. And then as of right now, you are ready to start editing.